Hello YouTube, I hope you've been doing great. Today we're back with another guide. Zani just released in Withering Waves and she is awesome. She's super fun to play. I'm so excited to play her even more. We did a lot of testing today. We tested her with different characters, different team setups, and tried to master all her kit or her rotation and her gameplay. So yeah, in today's video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about Zani. Make sure you subscribe and you like, make sure you subscribe to the channel and you like the video, comment if you can as well, and let's get into the guide. So first, Zani is a Spectral DPS. She deals Spectral damage on all her kits. She deals a lot of heavy attack damage and Spectral Frazzle damage that scales with Spectral damage, of course. And she synergizes very well with Phoebe, Shorekeeper, and also she can work with Spectral Rover or also Mortefi. I will show you a Mortefi run later that I actually enjoyed quite well. She uses a gauntlet weapon and her animations are really cool. You can see her shield here, really nice. She can block enemies' attacks with the shield actually. Like if you do your skill and you have like a short window where she doesn't take any damage, and she can counter attack. Same for the enhanced skill like that. And yeah, her animations are heavy, huge, massive, really satisfying.
Anything I can help you with?
I will start with what weapon she needs. So in terms of weapons, her weapon is going to be the best in start, of course. Gives attack percent, gives defense ignore, and spectral frazzle damage increase. So really good. After that, any other 5-star is going to be pretty solid, honestly. Rocha's weapon is actually insane on Zani. It gives attack, it gives a lot of crit rate, and mainly it gives heavy attack damage bonus, which is really good on Zani. Most of her damage in her kit is considered heavy attack and spectral frazzle damage. So yeah, spectral damage, heavy attack damage bonus is going to be very valuable for her. Sheng Liao's weapon is also pretty good, gives 12% damage, some crit rate. The rest is not really useful, but just 12% damage plus 24% crit rate is pretty nice, plus the high base attack. So this is still a solid weapon and better than most other options. And then after that, you got the standard weapon that gives a lot of attack, some energy recharge, which we'll see is pretty valuable for Zani. And then just a bit of basic attack damage bonus and resonance skill damage bonus, which is not super useful for Zani, but yeah, it's still decent and high base attack. And after that, honestly, you don't really have a lot of other options. Like the rest is not that great. You can use Celestial Spiral, but honestly, yeah, it's either the 5-star, the standard, or yeah, you can use Celestial Spiral or Marcato, but it's not like super insane. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of 4-star options for her. After that, in terms of echoes, she will use the Spectral set from Renacita, Eternal Radiance. Gives Spectral Frazzle damage, gives Spectral damage, gives 20% crit rate and gives some Spectral damage. So pretty good set for her, basically perfect. And then in terms of stats for the echoes, one thing that we'll talk about first is that you need to use the Capitanus on the main slot, on the first slot for your Zani. As you can see, it gives spectral damage bonus 12% and heavy attack damage bonus 12%, which is really really for Zani. Where if you look at the Morning X, it only gives 12% spectral damage, and then the rest is just like it deals a bit more damage when the enemy has spectral frazzle, but it doesn't buff your character, so it's not as valuable. The Capitanus is a little bit better, and also the Capitanus activates seamlessly, just like the Aeron, so I mean the Morning X. So you just press the echo and it spawns, and you can continue fighting at the same time. So it's really it's just fine, honestly. So yeah, make sure you use the Capitan on the main slot and you move the other ones somewhere else. In terms of stats, on the forecast, you will look for crit rate most likely if you're using her signature, or if you're using a crit damage weapon. Which we actually don't have any for 5-star crit damage weapon yet, so it's either crit rate or attack percent. So if you use attack percent or crit damage per signature weapon, you will want crit rate on the forecast most likely. Here, as you can see, with crit rate, I'm only at 62. She gains 20 from the set plus 12% if you use Shorekeeper, so I'm almost at 100, but yeah, if I wasn't using the crit rate, I would be pretty low. And honestly, the closer to 100 you are, the better it is. So I would recommend crit rate in general, unless you have max rolls everywhere. As you can see here, my rolls are pretty low overall. 6.9, 6.3, 6.9, 6.9. So yeah, actually, if I had 10% everywhere, for example, I would literally have like almost 20% more crit rate. So I could use crit damage. So depending on what rolls you have, you can go either crit rate or crit damage. But I would always recommend to be the closest possible to 100 crit rate, including the buffs. On the 3 costs, you can look for double spectral damage bonus or attack and spectral. Honestly, if you can't find double spectral and you have a good attack, you can definitely go attack and spectral. It's not a massive difference, especially if you have a weapon, etc. So just go with the ones you have the best stats. But spectral works, spectral attack works as usual. And then for the 1 cost, you will look for attack main stats. In terms of substats, double crit as much as you can, and heavy attack damage bonus is also really nice on her. Most of her damage, if not all her damage, is considered heavy attack damage. So heavy attack damage bonus on the substat is really good. And then finally, energy regen is really nice on her, especially if you don't do like super quick swap rotations, like when you don't do a lot of stuff on her while you're on other characters, you might lack a little bit of energy. Here I have 117. I'm a little bit short, so if you can get 125, about 3 rolls of energy would be nice. If you get about 3 rolls of energy, substat would be nice. 125, 130 is pretty comfortable. And then otherwise, if you're able to like quick swap properly, like it's not really, she doesn't really need that much ER. 116 is fine, but otherwise try to get 130 to be really comfortable. Also, if you can get attack substats on your echoes, it's also pretty nice. I don't have too much here, but of course she scales with attack, so attack percent substat is always going to be nice. Now, in terms of talents priority, the middle talent, of course, the 12% spectral damage here is really nice. The top one is okay. It's not really super important, so you don't necessarily have to use it if you want to save some resources. But at least get the crit, get the attack. It's pretty nice. And then for the main talents, Liberation is going to be really important. Forte Circuit is going to be pretty important as well. And then, honestly, after that, Resonance Skill and normal attacks are also pretty nice. Everything is pretty valuable on Zani. Priority to Liberation and Forte. This is what's going to deal the most damage. And that's pretty much it, honestly. I would recommend, honestly, almost quadruple 10 if you can. Like, it's the most efficient way to invest in your characters anyway in WoWa, in my opinion. Echoes are nice, but talents are guaranteed damage, so try to get at least triple 10 middle, level up the attack talent a little bit, and then the intro skill is not too important, but it's still a little bit of damage. Now, when it comes to the resonance chain, S1 and S2 are massive, huge. S1, as usual, like, that's what happens in Withering Waves, is like the S1 always makes it so much easier to play your character, reduces the interruption on everyone. Brent, impossible to get interrupted when he has a S1. Chengli, same. Cantarella, same. Everyone. Rocha, same. It's kind of cringe to do that, but it is what it is. So if you get the S1, it's really nice. Not being able to be interrupted, your heavy slash, Nightfall, it is pretty nice. Basically, your enhanced skill. Because when you get interrupted, it's pretty annoying. And also plus 50% spectral damage. Also, if you have S1, then attack percent on the 3 costs can become better, but still not a massive difference. So just go as I said earlier. And then S2, crit rate 20% plus 80% damage increase on your main abilities, basically on your skill. So really good. After that, S3, pretty nice as well. When every time you use one blaze, which is basically her Forte energy, you will increase by 8% the damage of her Liberation, which can go up to 1,200%. Considering you have up to 150 blaze when you use your Liberation, that's basically the max. When you consume all your blaze, you will get the max damage increase from the S3. After that, S4, when you intro skill, you will increase the attack of all the team by 20%. This is nice, this is comfortable, it's nothing crazy. S5 damage multiplier of Resonance Liberation is increased by 120%, so also pretty nice. And then now on S6, the damage multiplier of her normal attacks basically during after you use your liberation is increased by an extra 40%, which is huge. And every time you use your Forte energy, it increased the damage multiplier of Heavy Slash Nightfall by 40% on hit. And you also gain the following effects when you enter your Inferno mode, which is Blaze is low. When Blaze is lower than 70, restores 70 Blaze instantly. And it happens once, so you can stay in your enhanced state way longer with the S6, and you gain up to 80 extra % damage. Now, how does Zani's kit work? As you could see, as usual, Withering Waves, they put like a ton of text in the ability. If you don't want to read, that's why I'm here. Basically, what happens is that first thing first, she wants other characters in the team to apply Spectral Frazzle, alright? So that's why Phoebe, a lot of people say Phoebe is mandatory for Zani, because she's going to be the character that applies the most Spectral Frazzle in the game at the moment, the highest stacks, and the most often as well. But Spectral Rover can also work with Zani and apply a decent amount of Spectral Frazzle. So you can definitely, I would say you don't necessarily need Phoebe. I will make a showcase later, showcasing Phoebe versus Spectral Rover with Zani. So you want someone that applies Spectral Frazzle on the team, because every time Spectral Frazzle is applied on an enemy, it will convert that Spectral Frazzle stack into a different type of stack, and that different type of stack will give more damage to Zani. So once you learn how to apply the Spectral Frazzle consistently with your Phoebe or with your Spectral Rover, it's going to make your rotation much smoother, and your Zani damage will be much better as well. And that's how we're going into the rotation explanation. But first, let me just show you real quick the teams. Let me show you real quick the team. So, I mean, at the moment, best Zani team is going to be Zani, Shorekeeper, Phoebe. You can replace Phoebe with Spectral Rover. Another team that works really nice and that makes it super consistent to apply the Spectral Frazzle is going to be simply Spectral Rover and Phoebe. A ton of Spectral Frazzle application. You get a bit of healing with the Spectral Rover, and you get a decent amount of damage overall. Phoebe's buff is going to be massive for Zani, and yeah. And then finally, another team that I really enjoyed playing is Phoebe with Mortefi. You can also do Spectral Rover with Mortefi, even though, yeah, Spectral Rover is not as good as Phoebe, but still fine. Mortefi gives heavy attack damage bonus with his outro skill. So 38% heavy attack damage, and most of Zani's damage is also considered heavy attack damage. So this team actually performs pretty well. So if you want a bit more variety, it is pretty nice. Now, why does Phoebe work so well with Zani? So first, she applies a lot of Spectral Frazzle with her abilities, with her different stance. Phoebe has two different stance. Before, we were using mostly her DPS stance, which is the yellow one here. But now that Zani is here, we want to use the blue stance a bit more. So when you switch stance, it deals damage and applies some Spectral Frazzle on the enemy. And every time you do charge attack, it will apply more stacks. When you use your liberation, it will apply more stacks. And all these stacks will increase Zani's damage and give her more buff. But that's not it. That's not all. Phoebe's outro skill also gives 100 Spectral Frazzle damage amplification, which is insane for Zani, because all Zani's damage is considered Spectral Frazzle on top of being heavy attack, and also reduces the Spectral Res by 10%, so it gives insane buff to Zani. So that's why Phoebe is also so good for Zani, is just her outro is incredible. And on top of that, if you pulled Phoebe's weapon, it is also a ton of damage increase, plus 30% Spectral Frazzle damage increase, which, yeah, it is really, really good. So that's why a lot of people say Phoebe is mandatory and like the best for Zani. She is the best, but you have other options with Spectral Rover. Honestly, if you learn the rotation, the proper rotation with Spectral Rover that I'll show you later, and you build her properly, you will also almost not see the difference, I promise you. All right, so now I will show you the rotation with the Phoebe team. I will also show you the rotation with the Rover team, and I will show you two other teams that can work pretty well for Zani as well. One including Rover and Phoebe, and the other one including Mortefi, that I think can work pretty well if you want to have a little bit more flexibility with your teams and swap things around a little bit. And yeah, let's get into it. So basically, as usual in this in a shorekeeper team, most of the time you will start your rotation with shorekeeper. In this case, you can also start with Phoebe and apply her spectral frazzle on the enemy, so you can start getting the stacks and stuff on Zani. But ultimately, you want to start the first outro from shorekeeper into Phoebe into Zani, and then yeah. So let's get into it. So you can start with using Phoebe's confession stance with her liberation to apply as many stacks as possible, and then start stacking your concerto with shorekeeper so you can get the outro into Phoebe. And then you want to go into Zani after Phoebe. You can liberation straight up with Zani and start doing normal attacks. Boom. And if you can get a parry like that, it makes it a bit faster as well. And you can do your liberation and deal a ton of damage. Now, if you're able to, before you do your liberation with Zani, if you're able to do some quick swap and get a bit more concerto so you can swap from Zani during her liberation animation, it can be nice, but it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard. So it's not necessary, but as you can see here, pretty fast run, and I can boom. All right, 52 seconds, not too bad, not too bad. Could be a bit faster with a few more quick swap, but yeah, that's basically it. Pretty straightforward, honestly. Shorekeeper into Phoebe, into Zani. Unga Bunga with Zani, Unga Bunga with Phoebe, and then you just spam everything. I'll have the rotation shown. If you missed it, it was on the screen during my clear. So, and then I'll do the same for the Rover team. So Spectral Rover, you will need to do a few more rotations. You'll need to do a few more rotations because you need to quick swap a little bit more to reapply the Spectral Frazzle and get more stacks on Zani, because Spectral Rover doesn't apply as much as Phoebe. So here, usually you can start with your Spectral Rover to apply some Spectral Frazzle and start having your cooldown ticking down. So you can, when you go back to Spectral Rover, you will have your skill back. Oh my god, I've got bonked a little bit. This guy's kind of cringe. And then here, we go onto Zani. We have 10 stacks, which is not insane, but it's not too bad. We start Unga Bunga. And then get a parry if you can. Boom. And as you can see, it's not that bad, honestly. Like, it's still pretty fast, even with Spectral Rover.
Moment of resonance.
And we can go back here, stack some concerto maybe on Zani a little bit. One more stack, boom. It's definitely much slower. My Spectral Rover is not really built at all, so... And then, boom. So overall, yeah, about 20-30 seconds slower if I get unlucky with some stuns and stuff. I got bonked a little bit, so that doesn't help. And we get Zani, and then boom. Yeah, about 20 seconds slower, something like that. My Spectral Rover has level 0 echoes, and level 5 talents or something like that. So compared to a full 10 Phoebe with completely finished echoes, like it's a massive difference. And yet we're only 20 seconds difference, which is pretty crazy. Now, other team that is possible is going to be Spectral Rover with Phoebe. You have less healing, but you apply a lot of stacks as well, since you can apply with Spectral Rover and Phoebe. This is actually a pretty fun team. Okay, so with this team, it's a little bit harder to play. You need to quick swap a bit more, but you get a lot more Spectral Frazzle application, so your Zani can get a lot of buffs still. And overall, like, pretty solid damage as well, especially if your Spectral Rover is better built than mine. Full, like, if you level it up properly, it can deal a decent amount of damage. So here we start with Phoebe again. We can apply her Liberation for Spectral Frazzle, then go on Spectral Rover Liberation skill. I think I got cancelled for some reason. Oh my god, bro, I hate this dragon though. It's really not fun. And then when we go into Zani, boom. We got oh shit, I misclicked. We got 19 stacks on the boss, which is kind of insane. Okay, we go in Spectral Rover. I'm playing pretty bad. I took a lot of damage on Zani, which shouldn't happen, but now, with the good thing is that since you don't use the Spectral Rover outro at the start, you have all the Concerto for the second rotation. The second rotation is pretty fast, honestly. So it is kind of nice. And then it's basically done, no? It's not that much slower than the team. And then boom. And we can do that. And then boom. And then boom. And that's pretty fast, actually. That is faster than the... Oh, wrong stance, but it's dead. And at the end of the day, 1 minute clear. Spectral Rover Phoebe, 1 minute clear. I could have played much, much better. So pretty cool. And then the final team. The final team is going to be... You can do either Phoebe... Phoebe Mortefi, which is better in terms of damage. Or you can do Spectral Rover Mortefi, which is not going to perform like super well, but it still works. But I gotta be careful with the HP. That's basically it. But Mortefi gives 38, 36, 36 heavy attack damage bonus, which benefits Zani quite a bit, actually, because most of her damage is heavy attack as well. So, and Phoebe's buff lasts for very long, so it is pretty nice. Oh, I misplayed a little bit, but you see the speed? Like, this is really fast. This is actually pretty fast. Like, it's actually insane damage. Honestly, that's kind of my secret team. I feel like no one did this team. So, yeah. Oh, shit. I'm picking up. Oh my god. My bad. I misplayed, okay? I was not planning to do this. And bonk. Oh, and I'm bonked as well. But hey, that's a pretty cool team. Just gotta be careful with the HP, but I like this team quite a bit. Also, Mortefi was kind of useless against that boss because of the fusion res. So, like, against like a boss that actually takes damage, that gives Mortefi has pretty good damage as well. So yeah, that's basically it. Honestly, rotation is not that complicated. If you're able to get a few parries in between with your quick swaps and stuff like that, it can be pretty helpful. But otherwise, you can just do like straightforward rotation like I showed you. It's gonna be just enough for like literally everything. Like We could clear in like 50 seconds with the best team and okay rotations. She works great on any side, even with Spectral Rover and without Phoebe. So yeah, honestly, she's just great. Pretty good damage. Pretty fun to play. The parry is really like crisp. Like it's really fast. Like you press the parry, you parry. It's like Sekiro for those who played Sekiro or Nuclear Obscure Expedition. Like you press, you parry. It's like really instant, which is very nice. Feels great. And yeah, that's basically it, honestly. If you have any more questions after watching this guide, let me know in the comments. Feel free to join the Discord if you need help with Tower, with Whimpering Waste. And yeah, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.